Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to our webinar, Eliminate Dependency on Tape for IBM Backups, how to set up your backup operations and strengthen your overall data protection. My name is Axe Signer. I am Vice President of Solutions here at Electronic Storage Corporation. We are an IBM business partner and a Microsoft certified partner located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here at our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff and our own customer service and technical support staff. So today's webcast, we're going to overview how to easily automate backup and recovery. So we'll talk a little bit about the drawbacks of using manual tape, automating previous manual operations, incorporating data deduplication, setting up automated replication for disaster recovery copies of your backups, getting consistent and complete backups, backup data encryption, and offsite immediately your backups. So some of the drawbacks of using tape, which you could be experiencing today, are slowdowns on operations where disk-to-disk backup can be quite a bit faster and more automated than using tape. Tapes at risk, human error, mislabeling tapes, broken, lost, stolen tapes. Requires managing, storing, transporting of tapes. And this could be in some cases on a daily basis. Requires someone to be on site if tapes have to be changed out, whether it's in a tape library or an individual tape device. Slow recovery speeds, slowing access to data, and limits the ability to recover from a cyber attack or disaster. And also it can take a lot more time if you're working with tape and for a disaster recovery operation. So how to get tape backups without tape. So this is virtual tape, and our solution provides the ability for you to automate the backup and recovery process, strengthen your data protection, storage. Auto replication adds additional protection, whereas 2 copies or even 3 copies of your backups is completely better than 1 copy, which is typical with a tape backup environment. A solution that appears as tape media to the IBM I or other hosts. This just means that your backup process doesn't change. It remains the way that you're currently running backups to tape, but instead you're using virtual tape. So a solution that connects fiber channel or SAS to the IBM I host means that a solution like Vital can emulate a tape device or a tape library or both. With NPIV available on the fiber channel connections, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices, tape libraries per fiber channel port. LaserVault supports 8, 16, 32 gigabit fiber channel connectivity with the LaserVault Vital solution. The diagram basically shows things that you can do to make copies of your backups. So you can save your backups to disk using a Vital backup appliance or network attached storage, replicating to tape, whether you can use dupe tape to copy from disk to tape using the IBM I dupe tape command, BRMS's dupe media BRM. You can connect a tape device to LaserVault, the LaserVault Vital backup appliance, and make copies to tape that can actually be used to IPL, another IBM I system for disaster recovery. And then there's also replication. The replication gives you the ability to replicate to a second Vital appliance that could be at a DR, disaster recovery location. We do have customers that also replicate copies of their backups to cloud storage. So all these different options give you the ability to protect your data with 2 copies of your backups as opposed to 1 copy that you would currently have just using tape. So virtual tape allows you to use all the go save commands, including option 21, which is your full system restricted state save. So no different than using tape, and those backups are pretty important to be able to handle those option 21 saves, specifically for needing to recover a system from bare metal. And also the frequency of having to manually manage, store, transport tapes. So this can result in a significant time savings for systems and IT personnel because you're simply eliminating the labor and time involved in moving tapes around. Also, the ability to recover from any of your backups is super important with a virtual tape solution because you can have as many tape backups in a virtual system that you need to restore. So if you're looking for an older retention tape that you need to restore data from, it can be available online to do that, where you don't have to go and retrieve the tape. So LaserVault has several, Vital has several extra features for virtual tape, so you get a smarter option than tape for backups. Things like multi-thread capabilities, because one of the main goals with a backup disk-to-disk solution is faster backups, shorten the backup window as opposed to tape. And I'll show you a little more information on that here shortly. Having all your tapes available, so it's a virtually unlimited tape library. Up to 16,000 tapes can be available in one virtual tape library. So it's virtually unlimited the number of slots that you can have to store tapes. Protect features. So just like when you unprotect a tape, you can protect. There's a protect feature in LaserVault that allows that tape to be non-writable, cannot be deleted, cannot be initialized, cannot be overwritten. Auto set for archiving and purging. So one of the things that LaserVault can do is set up retentions for your tapes, unless you might be using BRMS or Robot Save, where all that retention is handled with those backup software products. But LaserVault also has its own retention and replication capabilities that will automatically manage the retentions of all your tapes. So backups managed from anywhere. You don't have to be on site with your server to change out tapes. Deduplication and replication. So deduplication is a process in which this is a part of LaserVault called bdupe that will only save changed and new data to disk. So it is a block level data deduplication. It can reduce the amount of data that you're storing in your backups 10 to 1 or greater. It also reduces the amount if you're replicating to cloud storage or to a DR location or both. It greatly reduces the amount of data needed to be replicated. And then automated email notifications for replication and retention jobs. So this just allows you to keep up with the process of making multiple copies of your backups with replication, so that you have data protection with additional copies. So speed. Feel the need for speed with disk-to-disk backup. Testing results compared to LTO tape. As you can see, up to 850 megabytes a second, which is more than double your LTO9 backup speed. So this backup speed can really be beneficial in shortening your backup window, so that your backups take up a lot less time for other processes to run. Okay, so data deduplication is done a number of different ways. We do work with several backup appliances: Rubrik, Cohesity, Quantum, Data Domain, NetApp. Any of these applications, including Exagrid, perform backups to with other platforms, open systems, Unix, Linux. Many times customers are using LaserVault as a gateway to save to those backup appliances. So you can leverage any existing backup appliance that you're using for open systems for your IBM I data. And so this makes this, using that existing platform, that backup solution, means that your investment in a VTL solution means not having to purchase an appliance with disk space or another SAN or NAS for storage if you'd like to use an existing backup appliance to store all your IBMI backups. So we'll connect fiber channel to the IBMI and then connect Ethernet or fiber channel over Ethernet to a SAN or NAS or deduplication appliance. And of course, I also discussed a minute ago that LaserVault does have data deduplication called bdupe that can be used to shrink that data down quite a bit for storage and replication. So replication, many of you might be thinking about, could I keep a copy of my backup in cloud storage, Microsoft Azure, Amazon S3, Wasabi, etc.? Of course, that's absolutely possible to do that. So if you don't have a DR site to store second copies of your backups for disaster recovery and performing saves during either a disaster recovery exercise, or you actually have to do the disaster recovery and work from the other box. But if you'd like to keep a second copy in cloud storage, you can actually do both, replicate to a DR site and replicate to cloud. So it gives you quite a bit of flexibility to create a single copy of your backup or two copies of your backups for more data protection. So let's do a quick little demo, and I'll show you some of the features and capabilities of Vital. So Vital has this web interface to log in with a secured username and password. This gives you the ability, and mostly this would be used for the configuration, setting up your virtual tape libraries or your virtual tape devices, setting up, adding in tapes, virtual tapes into the libraries for inventory and rotations of your tapes, whether you're using BRMS, Robot Save, or even just the Go Save commands. LaserVault has some security so that you can add users to groups. So users that can log into this interface could belong to a group, and groups have certain features and capabilities that they would or would not have access to based on their group that they belong to. I'll show you that in a minute. Any users that need access to this would be added here and added to a particular group. Libraries. So I have two virtual tape libraries defined, library 1 and 2. Let's take a look at the parameters that you would configure for a tape library to get things set up to begin saving disk to disk. Library name, pretty simple, just matches what's over here. Many people name this to whatever tape library particular LPAR is assigned to, or however you want to name that. This library path is where all your virtual tapes reside and also where you're saving your data to those tapes. And this would be local disk on a Vital LaserVault appliance. Instead, this could be network attached storage, whether it's an iSCSI connection to SAN or NAS storage, TCP/IP connection to SAN or NAS storage that you could use, and that path would be pointing to that storage. So in that case, LaserVault is a gateway. We're just passing the data through the fiber channel back out to a high-speed connection to the SAN or NAS to write and store the backups. Export path, this is just a way for you to move tapes that are in the tape library inventory to another path. This is cloud storage, for example. This just allows you to move, you can move tapes to external disk that are, say, long-term storage that you don't want to store on local disk because you don't hardly restore from those tapes because they're so much older. But they can be exported to an external disk and stored off-site, whatever that you wanted to do. And then you can always bring those tapes back in and restore from them. We emulate LTO2 all the way to LTO8. None of these have a storage limitation on these LTO versions. So whether you create an LTO8 tape or an LTO5, whichever that you choose to use, they will not have a storage limit. Your your full backup will always fit on one virtual tape. The number of storage slots. This is where you can create how many storage slots you need for tapes in your daily, weekly, monthly rotations. Again, this can go as high as 16,000 slots. You can increase that number of storage slots anytime that you want and add more tapes if you need. Data block file count. This is pretty critical feature of our product for backup speed, because even though you're saving to a single virtual tape, we're writing to 8 files during that save. So that tape has 8 files, 8 data files that we're writing to. So it's a multi-thread process to increase the backup speeds. And that number can go from 0 all the way to 32. Typical best practice is 8, 16. So just you can use that to determine the fastest backup process for you. Write cache and read cache. Write cache is for backup speed. This is how much data we're writing to memory during the backup. So we're caching into memory data and then writing to disk while we're still caching into memory. So you can see that we're going to be receiving data into high-speed memory and then committing it to disk during the backup. So this does help increase backup speed, changing this number. Read cache is for restore speed. LaserVault comes standard with compression, which averages 5 to 1. You can opt in for our data deduplication license, which is called bdupe. So that would increase your compression 10 to 1 or greater. We've seen as high as 30 to 1 in some instances with iSeries backup data. Encryption, so the data can be written to disk, encrypted during the backup, and an encryption key is stored there so that when you do perform a restore, it will use that key to do the restore. And this is AES 256 encryption. Replication and retention. This gives you the ability to set up replication of your tapes to a DR site with disk or another vital server at the DR site. Cloud storage like Amazon S3, Microsoft Azure, Wasabi. This also gives you the ability to set retentions on your virtual tapes. And so this is a way to configure everything to handle the replication and retention of your local and your remote tapes. Then this is going to run as an automated process, typically on a daily basis. If you're using BRMS or Robot Save, those will handle your retentions, or if you're rotating through tapes on a daily basis. So you have a CL program that automatically loads the next tape for the night and saves to it, or it initializes it first and then saves to it. So that's really handling your retention where you're rotating through tapes, either through a CL program, BRMS, Robot Save. But if you need the ability, you can set retention on both the local copies based on age or number of volumes. You can tell it to initialize those volumes or delete them. If you are doing a process where you're creating a new tape every day and you want that tape to delete, it's a daily tape, you keep it for 30 days. You want it to be deleted because you're creating new tapes every day. So each day you get a brand new tape, created, initialized, saved to, and it'll have a 30-day retention on it. And if you're replicating it, you can set it to either retain that tape also for 30 days at the remote site or for less or more time. So the two retentions can be different. Cloud storage. This is cloud storage properties. So we already have programmed in here 3 different cloud storage property parameters for Amazon S3, Azure, and Wasabi. Others can be added if you have a different or another provider for cloud storage can be added into the solution. Those are the 3 that we have come standard with the product. This is also the ability, you can set also which volumes you want to replicate. So if you're saying, I'd like to replicate only the volumes that I need offsite or cloud storage. So you can set, whichever volumes that you need. And of course you can set retention on those volumes in cloud storage. For security, you can edit a group. So any users that belong to a particular group, these are the features that you can check for any users belonging to this group, to which features they have the ability to do. So they may not be allowed to view the library and the media, maybe not allowed to create tapes. Any users belonging to this group cannot delete, change the write protect, move the media, export or import the media in the tape library. Basically, they can view the tape library and the media and create new media, any users that belong to this particular group. And as you can see, this group is assigned to this tape library. So each tape library can have its own set of users and security. This is a screen that gives you a quick snapshot of your replication jobs that are either currently running or completed. Email notifications also can be automatically sent to provide you the same information that a replication job is running completed. So library 1, as you can see, I have a tape drive here. Again, with NPIV, this tape library could have 64 drives with NPIV using a single 16 gig fiber channel port connected into a LaserVault appliance. So that gives you the ability to create more drives to be used across multiple partitions, multiple drives for doing parallel saves, things like that, so that you can create additional drives with worldwide port names that can be zoned to different partitions, things like that. So you have the drive here. So however many drives are assigned to this tape library, this represents TAP MLB V1, and TAP V1 is the tape device. And then here are all the tapes that have been added. You can just click create to create multiple tape images. You can initialize those, specify how many tapes that you want, and specify a volume prefix, which people usually use 1, 2, or 3 characters out of the 6 that you get for a volume ID. So once you create those tapes, you can add those into BRMS, use those in Robot Save, use them in a CL program to do any of the go save commands that you might be doing with your current backup. So it's really just a matter of changing your current tape device, whether it's physical or virtual that you might be using, to a new tape device. So this would either be a tape device or tape library that's going to be available to start running backups. It makes it very easy to implement this solution, because you're just switching to a new tape drive using your existing backup procedures. Some of the things you can do as the administrator: I can move a tape into the drive or to a different slot. I can delete the tape, but it is protected. You can see the P for protect in red over here to the right. So unless I unprotect that tape, I cannot delete it. I can export it. I can't export it to the export path, which moves it from here to that path. And you can do import and go get any of your exported tapes and bring them back to here. So I have 2 tapes. So these are in cloud storage. So I can check any one of these tapes and import, so it would copy them back into, actually moves them back into the inventory. Protect, we do have commands on the IBM side to protect and unprotect. So you could automatically set those from the IBM side. After the save is complete, automatically protect the tape and then unprotect it before you reuse it and initialize it. You can click on labels to see a list of the libraries that are saved to this tape. It's kind of like doing a display tape, but you can easily use that here. Or you can load the tape from the IBM side and do a display tape. And then of course BRMS and Robot keep track of all your stuff that you're saving. So this is a tape library. It will automatically load and unload tapes for saves and restores. So it performs exactly the same way, but you do not have a limitation of the number of slots that you do in your current physical tape library. So there's no changing out of tape library magazines with new tapes every week or however often you have to do that. And then Library 2. Library 2 is set up differently. It's set up as a tape device. So if you're not currently using a physical tape library or VTL solution, and you have a tape, just a tape device, and you're using the Go Save commands, you can use LaserVault as a tape device instead of a tape library if you want to. Okay, so we've got some additional resources in the GoToWebinar panel. And if anybody does have any questions, there's also in the GoToWebinar panel a way to type in any questions that you might have for me, and I can go ahead and answer those as we're completing this webinar. But feel free to download any of these documents, sizing questionnaire. We can certainly use that information to determine the amount of disk space that you would need for backups, fiber channel connections, really to customize a solution. One thing I do want to mention that this is a software solution, so we don't have to provide the server for this software product. Some of our customers do provide their own server, their own storage, fiber channel HBAs. We can provide all the specs to run this software product, and it is a perpetual software license that we offer. For the installation and configuration and knowledge transfer, we can either do that remote or on site. Majority of our installs are done remotely because it's very easy to get the system up and running and installed. You can also run this. You can run this in a VM environment, but you do need that connectivity from LaserVault, that server that is that's hosting LaserVault, to the IBM either fiber channel or SAS. So if you're using a VM, then in the host server you'll need a PCIe slot for that fiber channel card to be that connectivity to emulate tape. Okay, so some of the other things you can 12 reasons to go tapeless, and the sizing questionnaire, that's good to have so that we can of course configure a system. And what the next step might be for you is to visit with us about your current IBM environment, what you're using currently for backups, how much data you're currently saving, so that we can and also get into more detail on how the solution would work for your particular IBM environment. And then we also offer a gift card if you'd like after completing that demo. But it's a good way to get to know you and your environment and see how we could help you move away from your current backup solution, whether it's physical tape or something else. So if you're interested and like to get away from manual tape, let us know, because we'd love to see if we can help you out. I want to thank everybody for their time. It doesn't look like we have any additional questions. Oh, we do have earbuds drawing. Oops, almost didn't go the last slide there. So we'll be doing this drawing right after this webinar, and this is recorded. We'll email you the link, which we post to our YouTube channel, so that you can share this and review it later, and you can share it with other colleagues. and then we'll notify the winner of these really cool earbuds here for our little drawing. Okay, well, thanks everybody for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Bye-bye.